I have an important announcement that I want to make, and this is something I don't think has ever been done before, so I want you to stick with me here in this show because you're going to want to hear this. My name is Alex Pardo. I want to thank you for joining me on another episode of the Storage Wins podcast, and today is going to mark the finale of season 1. This is the last episode, and if you've been listening all season but haven't done anything yet, then this episode is going to speak to you. I have created this specifically to help you get from where you are stuck in the mud to where you want to go, which is to become a storage owner this year. Now, I'm going to tell you exactly why you're still sitting on the sidelines, what it's costing you, and what's coming up in season 2 that you need to hear about and is going to be an absolute game changer, okay? Now, I want to go ahead and break this episode up into a couple different segments, and I want to first talk to you about why you're still waiting. And I'm not going to hold back any punches. I'm going to speak from the heart. I'm going to shoot you straight because I think it's important that I tell you what I believe you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So let me guess if your excuses, or maybe in some cases reasons for not having the level of success you want in self-storage, not getting into this business, not buying your first facility, tell me if it falls into one of these buckets. Number 1, you don't have time. Number 2, maybe it's fear that's holding you back, the fear of making a mistake. Number 3 is you don't have money, or you don't have capital, or you have some type of belief system around the money component of this. Maybe, and I guess I would lump this into the time bucket, but if it's a lack of time because you're so busy doing other things, maybe the timing isn't right and you're waiting for someday down the road in the future when the timing is going to be better. It's got to fall into one of those categories because that's what I hear week in and week out. It's, hey, Alex, I want to do this, but I don't have time. Hey, Alex, I want to do this, but what about the money? Hey, Alex, fear, uncertainty, I'm paralyzed, analysis paralysis. More times than not, it's going to fall in those areas. And I would say the last category or bucket is it's a knowledge gap. Like, I don't even know where to begin. How do I find deals? How do I analyze them and underwrite them? Where do I get the money? And it's so daunting and overwhelming in your mind that it just freezes you. Like, you're literally frozen and you're not sure how to take the next step. You don't feel like you have the right guidance. Maybe you're plugged into a bunch of other podcasts and you're watching YouTube videos, you're picking up books, you're online, you're in the Facebook groups, and it just adds to the noise and the complexity that you believe it's standing in the way. All right, hopefully that makes sense. But look, here's the real reason you're not moving forward. You're scared. You're scared of the unknown. You're scared of making a mistake. You're scared to take that first step because what if? What if I fall flat on my face and I fail? What if I look dumb or stupid in front of my friends and family? What if I make a critical mistake and lose a bunch of money? Look, I get it, but staying comfortable is costing you way more than any mistake you could possibly make in storage. All right, so I want to go ahead and transition now, and I want to paint the picture of 2 likely outcomes for you. All right, allow me to present this think of this as like your 2 futures. You got path A and you got path B. All right, so let me start with the first version, path A. And I want you to place yourself 12 months from today. And here's version 1. You did absolutely nothing. Maybe you're still listening to this podcast or watching me, or, watching this video. You're plugged into others. You're still consuming a bunch of information. You still want to do this. You have the right heart and intention, but you're in the same place. Maybe you're making the same money, possibly less. You're working the same hours, maybe even more. You're going to think back to this moment and realize that you wasted another year being scared, being paralyzed, being stuck in the mud, feeling like you're in quicksand. Now, here's version 2, or path B. You actually did something different. You took massive imperfect action. You own your first self-storage facility. Now you have proof of concept. Now you have more confidence and your belief system has ascended. It's risen. It's expanded. The storage facility is producing income for you. And that could be thousands of dollars a month. You're building equity and long-term wealth. And maybe you spend 5 to 10 hours a month on that one facility. You're likely spending less based on my experience. And your only regret is that you look back and you say, why didn't I start that sooner? So here's my question for you. Which version do you want? Which path would you rather walk? Is it the one where you stay stuck where you're at and then another 12 months passes and you look back and you realize that you're in a similar place, or maybe even you're a few steps back, and then now regret starts to pile on. You start to feel a little bit different about yourself. It's a withdrawal in the confidence account, not a deposit. Or would you rather walk path B, where you decided, you committed, you took massive imperfect action? And even though it could have been messy at times, maybe you made some mistakes, maybe you stumbled, but the key is you got back up, you persevered, and you were able to cross the finish line on your first storage facility. Which one do you want? Now, here's where the big announcement comes in. Season 2 is literally right around the corner. And here's what's happening in season 2 and why I believe you're not going to want to miss it, and why I believe you can't afford to miss it, is I am taking someone who has never done a self-storage deal before, ever, and I am coaching them live on the podcast. And think of this season as a quest. We are on a mission to see if I can help this person get from where they are to storage ownership in the next 6 months. And every step is going to be documented in real time. This isn't a case study. This isn't theory. This is me literally putting my money where my mouth is. And you're going to hear everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the peaks, the valleys, the wins, the lessons learned. We're going to talk about how do we find these deals. We're going to analyze the deals together. We're going to figure out how to structure and where to get the money and how to finance it. The negotiations with sellers and what does that look like? The conversations, the due diligence and everything in between. And then we're going to see if we can actually get him to close his first storage facility. If we make it that far, and I got to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to cross the finish line in that given time frame that we have. But either way, I think it's going to inspire you. You're going to learn a lot. And I think the goal here is to help you take that first and next step, to identify your right next thing. We're going to document literally every single challenge, the mindset beliefs. And I got to be honest with you, there's going to be times where it's going to be a little tough to listen to because I'm going to challenge him and I'm going to work on his mindset. We're going to unpack the mistakes. We're going to celebrate the wins. Literally nothing will be hidden. And this is literally a do or die moment. Okay. This is how I'm thinking about it. And here's what's going to make this super, super interesting. And I don't know anybody that's ever done this on a podcast or on a show. Nothing is scripted. We're literally tackling things week to week as it comes. And I don't know if he's going to be able to actually close his first deal within that time frame that we've set for this season. And that's the risk, right? That's what makes it real, raw, authentic, is I'm going to be out there vulnerable, like pouring into him. He's hopefully going to take massive imperfect action like I'm sharing with you. And I might have an egg on my face. He might not cross the finish line. Either way, I'm going to pour into him. And I believe, regardless whether he crosses the finish line and closes that deal or not, I believe it's going to help you. I believe it's going to expand your thinking. It's going to give you additional tools and resources. It's going to help you grow your network. And it's going to do so much for you. So the entire season, you're going to be a fly in the wall. And you're going to have an opportunity to hear me coach him one-on-one from start to finish. And we're gonna get into his journey and what makes us a fascinating story all the way to the end to see, is he gonna let fear hold him back? Is time gonna be an excuse? Is he gonna allow the knowledge gap, the fear, the uncertainty, the lack of money, which by the way, he doesn't have? Is that gonna be an excuse and something that he allows to get in the way of him accomplishing this goal that he's had for a long time? Is he going to find a good deal? Is he going to be able to get the financing and structure it? Is he going to be able to negotiate with sellers? How many deals is he going to get under contract that don't get to the finish line? We're going to unpack it all. And I'm betting you're going to learn a lot. And my belief is that you're going to walk away feeling inspired. And more importantly, you're going to feel equipped to take that right next step. So you're going to have to tune in to listen to it, hear it, watch it unfold live. And look, if you've been saying, I need to see how this is done, you're going to get a front row seat to the entire process. By the end of season 2, this person's either going to own a storage facility or we're going to know exactly why they didn't. And either way, I know it's going to be a big learning experience for him. He's going to grow from it. And so the first episode of season 2 drops on Monday, February 9th, 2026. If you're listening to this in the future, go back and start with episode 1 of season 2 and follow along in the journey. Okay. I want to invite you and give you a front row seat to experience that. And now, as I start to put a wrap on this, the way that I think about this, you got 2 options. Okay. Option 1, if you're ready to stop just watching and listening and consuming and you're ready to start doing, then I want you to head over to storagewins.com and schedule a discovery call with me. On that call, which is going to be super short, we're just going to discuss where you're at, what you're looking to accomplish, what are your biggest challenges and struggles. And we're going to start to walk away with pieces of a game plan and determine if it even makes sense to work together or not. And we'll talk about how we can take you from where you are today to storage ownership this year. And if you're not ready, then I want to encourage you to subscribe to the Storage Wins podcast and on my YouTube channel. Watch and listen to season 2 and see someone just like you go from 0 to facility owner in real time or not. And then you can decide. So you can punt on this for the next several months and then maybe make a decision in the future. But then I want to challenge you, like, when is the timing going to be right? Because life is always going to demand your time, your energy, your attention. There's always going to be new plates that you're spinning and new balls that you're juggling. So season 1, I think, gave you a lot of education. Hopefully it gave you some specific action steps that you've acted on. Season 2 is about the live execution. So with that being said, my name is Alex Pardo. I appreciate you tuning in and subscribing. I will see you in season 2.